Hey everyone, this is Charles Smith here, and welcome to this edition of Tech Review. And the product that we'll be reviewing this time is the iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 has been one of the most long-awaited devices in the market. It's been a period of over a year and a half that it's been raising a lot of speculation. It's been the subject of many rumors among both Apple and non-Apple fans alike. Many people just were dying to know what it would look like, what it would feel like, and ultimately how it would work. Now, before we get started with the review, I just wanted to give a quick short disclaimer. I plan on doing a full unbiased review of the iPhone 5. While I'm not a diehard Apple fan, I will not use this time as a means to bash the iPhone or praise the Android phone. Nor will I use this as a time to praise the iPhone and put it on a pedestal as the quote-unquote holy grail of smartphones while defaming Android's name. I feel this is unfair because as a tech reviewer and a lover of technology, I realize that each platform and operating system does something that another one may lack or fall short of. With that said, that's why I own an iMac, dual booted also with Microsoft Windows, while I also use an Android smartphone, and I also own a MacBook Pro with Mac OS on it. So enough with that, and let's go on with the review. Okay, here is the iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 pretty much retains the same form factor as the previous 4 and 4S models. The difference is now, however, is that the body is slightly taller and that the front-facing video camera is now in the center, right above the speaker. Now the back is where the real updates are noticed, as Apple uses a new unibody aluminum design rather than the previous glass design used for the 4 and 4S. We also see that the headphone jack has been moved to the bottom of the phone and that there has been a new dock connector which is much smaller. It is now called the Lightning port. Here's the new Lightning connector. The greatest thing about the new Lightning connector is that it now supports up to high-speed data transfer. Another thing is that it is reversible. Now you can plug it in on either side. The smaller dock connector meant that the iPhone can now be thinner. A common gripe is that the new Lightning port is not compatible with older connectors, and in order to make them work, you will need to pay an additional $30 for a Lightning to 30-pin adapter. Apple has some new headphones, now called AirPods. They have a remote, of course, and they're also now designed to fit the contour of more people's ears. Check out the new design. Built on over 5 years of research, the Apple AirPods have been engineered to minimize sound loss and maximize sound output, so you get high quality audio. This brings about deeper, richer bass tones, greater protection from sweat and water, control music and video playback, and you can answer and end calls. Here's the microphone. And over here is the volume control. You can also use this to switch between songs. The iPhone 5 is one of the thinnest smartphones in the world. The iPhone 5 is actually 18% thinner and 20% lighter than the previous iPhone. And now the moment you've been waiting for. Ah yes, that nice big 4-inch beautiful display screen. You can see it still has a Retina display. It's clear. It now has an 1136 by 640 resolution. Apple has done a real clever thing here. They've made the 4-inch screen by making the iPhone slightly taller until they stacked it up, rather than making the phone a little bit wider diagonally. So this way the phone still feels the same and looks the same when in hand, but when you put the phone on, you see this big, nice display, which is a first by Apple, which has usually been dwarfed by the 3.5 display screens. You also see now that they have a new app. This is running iOS 6. The newest to the iPhone, and the biggest update is the support of LTE. Right now I'm using Verizon's 4G network. The addition of LTE to the iPhone has been, in my opinion, one of the best added features of the device, because With that, you can get very super fast, ultra fast data speeds, theoretically up to 100 megabits per second. Along with the addition to LTE, the iPhone also now supports HSPA Plus and DCHSDPA networks, also truly making this a world phone. Right now, I'm going to give you a taste of what 4G LTE has to offer. We're on speedtest.net doing a speed test. I'm conducting it from Philadelphia, PA. Now, speeds will vary from city to city, and they will also vary from carrier to carrier. Now, this is pretty fast for a phone, equal to or better than that of a DSL connection. Right now, as you can see here, you have the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 5 stacked side by side, and you can see that there is a difference, a big difference. As mentioned earlier, the iPhone 5 now has a 4-inch display screen, and despite the slightly larger size, there still is a Retina display. Usually when increasing a phone's display screen size, many issues occur when trying to incorporate HD inside the display, but we see that Apple has proved very successful in this regard. Although unnoticeable on camera, the iPhone 5 certainly has a deeper color density than the previous iPhone 4S. As you can see, the taller 4-inch display comes in handy certainly when adding another row of apps, allowing you to add a 6th row. The iPhone 5 sports a new faster A6 processor. This will bring more productivity, faster graphics, and even a better battery life. However, despite these claims, I have noticed a slightly shorter battery life with the iPhone 5 compared to the iPhone 4S due to the 4G and better display. Instead of the expected 8 hours on LTE, I'm getting about 7 hours. Siri has been improved more as well. It can do more than basic tasks. Did the Eagles win?
The Eagles narrowly defeated the Giants by a score of 19-17 yesterday.
Thank you, Siri.
Just doing my job.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Thanks, Charles. Glad to help.
Yes, we can see a lot of improvement here. Siri seems to know a lot more about sports. Siri is truly amazing, isn't she? Very nice. Siri can actually do way more than this, but to actually show that would take hours.
It is I who should be thanking you.
Why?
An excellent question.
The iPhone 5 has a stunning new front-facing video camera with HD 720p resolution. You can see much improvement over the previous 4S. And of course, let's not forget to check out the incredible video and photo quality. Check out this gorgeous plant. The amazing rich trees and blue sky. A bug on a flower with autofocus. Would you like to see more video? Well, let's go ahead. As we can see, the new iPhone 5's video camera is truly depth-defying. Notice its rich, vibrant, deep colors. Would you like to see some more? Well, you've got it. There's yet more to come. Just observe this magnificent focusing ability of the camera. The iPhone 5 also now has an improved image stabilization. Notice how smoothly the video runs with very little to no lag. Even indoors, the iPhone's video quality is exceptionally amazing, with very little lag and jitter. With quality like this you're currently looking at, it's so hard to believe that this is coming from a smartphone. The iPhone has a stunning, captivating 1080p 8 megapixel video camera. I might as well even go on as to say that this would be an adequate replacement for any amateur's video camera for home movies. Honestly, many smartphones today brag of a decent video camera, but I have seen none like the iPhone. And now, let's try out Apple's Maps feature. Apple has set a new standard in navigation and map making since that of Google. Apple now has a new feature built in their integrated maps called flyover mode. Right now, I'm in the city of Philadelphia, and right now we're looking at One Liberty Place, one of the second tallest buildings in Philadelphia. And I can say that this is a truly amazing and fun feature. The buildings look like they're basically coming out to you. I know this is 3D, but you can just really see it just stick out amazingly. Although yet very impressive on the onset. There are yet many issues with inaccuracies that Apple has to fix as soon as possible. But for the most part, the map is pretty good. One other slight unexpected issue with the iPhone is the new display and its compatibility with apps. For the most part, there are many apps that are not yet configured to work with the iPhone's larger screen. Thus, you will have two black bars at the top and bottom of most of your apps. It's hardly noticeable on the black model, but on the white, you can see it. In my book, I give the iPhone 5 a 4 out of 5 star review. In many ways, Apple has never ceased to amaze us with its many products that it's released in the past years. The iPhone 5 is no doubt an exception. Although the iPhone is known for its stunning charm, its very thin form factor, being one of the thinnest phones in the market today, its high superior quality Retina display being one of the highest displays out currently, next to the Samsung Galaxy, and its high quality camera, which I feel honestly no one else can compete with currently or can top. I still feel as though the iPhone 5 lacks that wow factor that many of its predecessors and its competitors currently have. Many of us tend to get ahead of ourselves every time the launch of a new Apple product is expected to happen, because what usually happens, we come up with some super high expectations that are usually near impossible. Basically, let's face it, a lot of us have seen a lot of high-tech science fiction movies, I guess. So, no doubt, I must admit I was fooled with this one. And with the iPhone 5 concept video, they had a lot of astronomical features that really can be possibly near impossible. We saw a laser projection keyboard, a holographic display, and an ultra slim, thin form factor, which is about as thin or lighter as a graham cracker. And we realized that in reality, these things did not come to be of this precious gem. However, many though are still impressed by what Apple has done. I personally am slightly disappointed. All in all, Apple still has this special attractiveness to it that just keeps me coming back for more, although I have an Android and many other phones. The iPhone is fun to hold, fun to look at, and fun to use. But how long will it stand against the competition? As for most people, any time an Apple product is released, many flock to the stores. The world pretty much becomes unglued, and everyone just about stops what they're doing to get a glimpse of the iPhone, to use it, to see what it feels like, and to just possess one. In 2007, since its debut, the iPhone has by far been one of the most popular smartphones in the world. In 2007, many people did not even know what a smartphone was, beside those who were using BlackBerry and Palm Pilots. Since then, many have not owned anything other than an iPhone. Many new users who have adopted to the iPhone have loved its easy design, that it just works, its light touch sensitive display, and its superior video camera, that many other phones that equal or exceed the features of an iPhone have been viewed as virtually worthless or menial to many Apple fans and followers and people alike. Let's face it, Apple has that kind of alluring appeal to it that just keeps you coming back for more. You just want to touch it, you want to feel it, you want to get your hands on it and just see how it works, how it operates. And that's okay. Let's face it, Apple makes many great products. They work seamlessly, they're easy to use, they're fun to look at. However though, Apple is not immune to any problems And the iPhone 5 is no doubt an exception to that rule. It does have its share of limitations. Let's start with one. Here are some of the things that you should consider before purchasing an iPhone if this bothers you. One thing that is still a big letdown is the size of the screen. While the phone still feels the same in your hand, it is increased to a 4-inch display, which to many is an amazing accomplishment by Apple, and I do congratulate them for finally listening and making a bigger phone. However, it dwarfs in comparison to the slew of large-screen Androids that are on the market today. Many of the entry models starting at just over 4.3 inches. The iPhone 5 being among the smallest of them with a 4-inch display screen. Another factor to consider is Adobe Flash Player. The iPhone 5, along with its iPod and iPad counterparts, still continue to lack Flash Player. Flash Player is important for viewing full web content such as movies, music, and clickable widgets in games on certain websites. However, although Adobe Flash Player is no longer needed in most websites, HTML5 comes to the rescue with the iPhone. However, there are many websites that still rely on Adobe Flash Player to operate, such as mine. So the iPhone 5, for many who wish to view their phones as home computers, may not like the fact that when they click on certain icons or certain web things, they may get the error message, Flash required. And no, you cannot download Adobe Flash Player because it's not supported on Apple mobile devices. They are, however, supported on a desktop computer. One deal breaker for many on the iPhone is its lack of simultaneous voice and data features on CDMA networks. For those on the AT&T or other GSM networks, you will be able to use your phone to talk on and to surf the web, both from your cellular connection. However, for CDMA networks such as Sprint and Verizon and Virgin Mobile, you will not be able to enjoy the luxury of making a phone call and getting on the internet through 3G or 4G LTE because of the fact that Apple has chosen to use a single radio chip to make the phone as thin as possible. Before I got my first smartphone a while ago, I really didn't care about simultaneous voice and data. But once I got on Verizon 4G LTE last year, I realized that this was truly amazing and that now I can't live without simultaneous voice and data. So right now I currently have an HTC Thunderbolt, which I'm still sticking with until something else truly groundbreaking comes out. So if you're tethering, you're on the internet, or if you're trying to travel or getting doing a GPS or trying to make a phone call while getting through the territory or getting a phone call, your data connection drops, your GPS drops, and that's it. And if you're sending a message, an email, it won't send until after you get off the phone. So, although this wasn't a problem for many, sometimes this can be a problem for others. Another point that is important to consider is iOS 6. Now for me, iOS 6 has worked greatly. I love it. However, the new Maps is made by Apple. Apple decided to kick off its rival Google Maps from its phone. And now Apple has made its own proprietary app. This app has worked well for me, but for many, people have had trouble finding streets, buildings have been misplaced, rivers have been tangled, even the Hoover Dam is missing. iOS 6 is kind of flaking in the way of its map. The new Apple navigation map is a little flaky. And it will take time for Apple to improve its map searching capabilities to the point where Google is, as Google has had years for it to mature. Another small disappointment about the iPhone is its lack of Bluetooth file transfer protocol. The iPhone does support Bluetooth, which has been on its models in the past, which are essentially the Bluetooth headset, the wireless hands-free devices that you have in your car and the like. However, though, when it comes to sending and receiving files such as music, pictures, and videos, these actions are blocked unless you're sending them to other Apple devices. There are some third-party applications that you can buy on the App Store to get these features restored. So a lack of having Bluetooth file transfer protocol natively without having to pay for it is kind of a downer. Another major letdown for the iPhone was its lack of NFC. NFC stands for Near Field Communications. Near Field Communications is a feature which was implemented a few years ago by Google's Galaxy Nexus, which allows you to make purchases with your phone just by swiping it as a card swipe. Your phone becomes your bank card. And instead of carrying a card around, your phone has all your bank information, go like that, bam, you made a purchase. The iPhone still does not have this feature in comparison to the Google phones that are out right now. Hopefully in the near future we will get that feature on the iPhone. We've all seen it in many science fiction movies and other movies alike. Everyone loves the kind of technology where you can do your fingers, you swipe it, access approved, access denied. We like that kind of stuff. It's just fun. Retina eye display, eye unlocking methods, things like that. And we've actually seen that in a Google phone that came out last year, the Galaxy Nexus for Verizon. However, though, the iPhone does not have such methods as face unlocking or face recognition. So we'll put that on our list for anticipated features for next year's model. All in all, despite some of its slight limitations on some of its features and some restrictions, we can be sure, and it's well worth noting, that Apple will continue to allure millions with many of its new upcoming products for the years to come. After all, they're Apple. They can do anything. This concludes this edition of Tech Review. Thank you for watching.